The 2026 NFL landscape is scrambled. We are looking at massive coaching overhauls, aging core rosters, and a completely reshuffled deck of title contenders. If you draft your dynasty teams or place your futures bets based on who these franchises used to be, you are going to burn your bankroll. You have to look at the data in front of you right now. We need to strip away the fandom and the team loyalties. We are going to classify all 32 NFL franchises into functional asset classes, so you know exactly where to put your money. Take the Los Angeles Rams, who are stacking an all-pro roster with the most dominant defensive player of the last 20 years and luring veterans out of retirement. They have built such a concentrated talent gap that they've effectively distanced themselves from the rest of the league. When a single team becomes a massive statistical outlier like this, a standard 1 through 32 ranking fails. You need an objective risk assessment tool just to see where the actual value lies in the other 31 teams. We're going to use the contender matrix to measure exactly how much risk you are taking on for the potential reward. This chart maps that risk. The horizontal axis measures predictability, how safe a weekly investment is. The vertical axis is championship ceiling, the ultimate Super Bowl equity. The league clusters into 3 zones: the juggernauts, high variance gambles, and the purgatory trap. Identifying which of these zones a team falls into dictates exactly how you should allocate your fantasy draft capital and your betting bankroll. First up are the all-in juggernauts. These are teams taking massive swings to build super rosters right now. They get here by liquidating future draft picks and maxing out their cap space to acquire elite veteran superstars. Look at the Cincinnati Bengals. They finally poured heavy investment into their defensive front, adding pieces like Dexter Lawrence to protect their elite, high-powered offense. This aggressive approach gives these teams the safest statistical floors for your fantasy lineups and the highest immediate Super Bowl probability for your betting slips. Having supreme, proven quarterback stability, like Patrick Mahomes, locks a team into this elite tier, easily masking any minor roster flaws elsewhere. When you pair that generational quarterback talent with an elite, stable head coach like Andy Reid, you guarantee elite status year over year. These are the safest bets on the board today, but the trade-off is a zero margin for error. One bad injury at a key position, and the entire house of cards collapses into a multi-year rebuild. Then we have the high-variance gambles. These teams attempt to manufacture a championship ceiling purely through offensive scheme. These teams pair a physically gifted, high-variance quarterback like Justin Herbert with a specific play caller designed to minimize his mistakes and maximize explosive plays. In Miami, Mike McDaniel's system turned a struggling unit into a top-tier offense in a single season. Replicating that efficiency with a superior physical talent like Herbert is what drives the massive upside here. This exact dynamic applies when you put a top prospect quarterback like Caleb Williams into a new system designed to generate massive fantasy spike weeks. To fund these high-flying offenses, these franchises routinely neglect their defensive rosters. That creates extreme weekly volatility. Because they have to rely on winning high-scoring shootouts every single Sunday, backing them with a long-term futures bet is terrifying. They are completely unreliable for Super Bowl tickets. But that exact same volatility makes their receivers and running backs highly lucrative assets to hold in your dynasty leagues. That brings us to the third and most dangerous archetype, the purgatory trap. These teams maintain an okay roster, but lack a premier quarterback. They attempt to stay relevant by preying on weak divisions, instead of doing the hard work to build a true juggernaut. Sometimes these teams bring in a high-profile veteran coach, like John Harbaugh, to lead a flawed roster, which creates a dangerous false sense of security for investors. The typical outcome for this tier is a consistent 9 or 10 wins. Best case scenario, they are a wildcard team that gets bounced in the first round. Compare that to having an elite quarterback like Josh Allen, who possesses the raw talent to drag an imperfect roster deep into the playoffs single-handedly. By refusing to bottom out and rebuild their core, these franchises permanently cap their championship ceiling. Because they are never going to win a title, they are dead money for futures bets. And without elite touchdown upside, they are useless for building a winning dynasty roster. Translating this data into success requires mapping these 2026 projections directly to your personal investment goals. Let's look at this decision tree. If your goal is guaranteed immediate returns, we follow the first path. Conservative investors should put capital straight into established elites, like the Chiefs, Bills, and Rams, where MVP-caliber play easily erases minor roster flaws. If you desperately need rapid growth, we follow the second path. Aggressive investors should target the not impossible tier. Teams like the Chargers, Colts, and Texans carry risk, but offer the league-winning upside of a breakout offense. And for everyone else, you must absolutely avoid drafting or betting on the wild card at best tier. Competency is not contention. Maximizing your ROI means refusing to pay premium prices for teams that are structurally designed to lose in the first round.